And we have returned. And thanks to those three for those reports. Let's start case 2 of the new season. Murder a la mode. Matthew, I can't tell you how glad I am to have you on the team. Judging by the success of your first case, you and Carrie are highly skilled investigators. Thanks, Chief. I just wish I was as good at speaking French as I am at investigating murders. When I got my morning croissant from the baker, she gave me the weirdest look. What did you say? I just said, merci beaucoup. Isn't that how it's pronounced? Oh, you meant to say merci beaucoup, but I'm afraid it sounded more like beaucoup, which means you told the baker she had a nice butt. Oops. Oh no, now I have to remember how to apologize in French, and make sure I practice it 1,000,000 times before I see her again. I'm sorry to take away from your French lesson, Matthew, but we just got a call. A reporter for the fashion magazine Flamme was just found dead on a terrace near the Arc de Triomphe. Well, Matthew, we'd better head to the scene of the crime. There we go. Matthew, it looks like this guy was shot in the chest. But how could it happen out here in the open near the Champs-Élysées, the most visited street of Paris, with no witnesses? You're right, that service tray could provide us with a clue. Leave no stone unturned. Oh, thank you for coming so quickly. I can't believe this has happened. Calm down, mademoiselle. My name is Martine Meunier, and I am the editor for Flamme Fashion Magazine. This man is Sébastien Lefebvre, one of my star journalists. Did you see what happened? No, I was coming to meet Seb for an apéro at the bar, but when I got here, he was dead. Well, we'd like a moment to speak with you about his death. Matthew, so begins our second case together. I need to get stars, so sit tight, everybody. Okay, I have 7 stars. Let's take care of the service tray now. Got it, the glove. A left side glove, a left-hand glove. Matthew, this leather glove was hidden under the things on that service tray. It could be a link to our murder. Let's get the glove to the lab for examination. Now let's see what Martine Meunier knows. So, Miss Meunier, you said you were coming to meet Lefebvre for a drink. Yes, it is something we do every Tuesday to relax, but I was late tonight, and when I got here there was no one else, just Sebastian, shot dead. You said Sebastian was one of the top journalists on your magazine, Flem. It is called Flamme, like flames. Thank you very much. And yes, he was the best reporter we had, and a good friend of mine. Do you know if Sebastian had any enemies? Oh, Seb was very opinionated, and he wasn't afraid to speak his mind. That's what made his writing so good. But I don't know who would kill over something he wrote. I can let you see our office, if you feel it would be useful to search there. As a fashion magazine, people were coming and going all the time. Yes, thank you. It will be a big help. Let's head to the Flamme office now, Senior Trooper Matthew. With that load screen. Oh, finally. I don't know why we're doing that. And I didn't get the first star. Miss Munier said the victim had people up to visit in his office all the time. So it's possible we could get some leads from things we find here. What have you got? Wow, Matthew, someone busted up this pocket watch pretty bad, possibly out of anger. Let's get it pieced back together and take a closer look at it. And this glasses case doesn't look like the victim's style. Maybe unlocking it will lead us to someone who paid him a visit. Let's get to work. And I need to solidify myself. Maybe one more star will do. So hold on, folks. Alright, and now I got 9 stars. Get myself up to 9 anyway. Perfect, Matthew. The pocket watch is reassembled, but the engraving on the back of it is too rubbed away to read. Let's see if we can figure out what the engraving says. Sebastian compliments of Stacy. Matthew, the engraving on the pocket watch says, "To Sebastian, compliments of Stacy's." I know Stacy's. It's a department store in the United States. I didn't think there were any Stacy's here in France. Knockoff of Macy's. Okay. Oh, it looks like the CEO is The CEO, Howard Stacy, is here scouting out possible locations to open a store in Paris. This pocket watch must be a gift from him. Makes sense that that a department store CEO would want to buddy up to a fashion journalist. Let's see what Mr. Stacy can tell us about the victim. Mr. Stacy, we understand you knew Sebastien Lefebvre, a journalist for Flamme magazine. Yes, I plan to open a Stacy's location here in Paris, and I felt Mr. Lefebvre's support would be a boon to our business strategy. Well, we found the watch you gave him. It was badly broken. Yes, he was less than enthusiastic about associating with the Stacy's brand, but I have French investors willing to put in the work to make the store a success here. Sebastien Lefebvre was shot to death earlier tonight. What? Oh, that's awful. Is his editor Martine Meunier involved in the investigation? We've spoken with her, yes. Why do you ask? I had the pleasure of making her acquaintance. Did you know she used to work as a coroner in the States? What a bold career change. The woman is truly full of surprises. Oh yeah, that's right, from the conspiracy. She was a coroner. She didn't tell us that. Let's remember that for when we speak to her next, Senior Trooper Matthew. I must be going. Please let me know if I can contribute anything else to your investigation. So what do you know? We have someone from the conspiracy that went back to Paris and made a drastic career change. I didn't recognize the name, honestly. Bingo, Matthew. These glasses from the case have the name J. Siegel on it. We know that that's not the designer's name because there are St. Yves these are St. Yves brand glasses. So these belong to J. Siegel. There's a Juliet Siegel listed as an intern working here. Let's talk to her. Oh, hello. You must be the investigators here about Sebastien. Yes, how do you know that? Everyone's talking about it here. It's so scary what happened to him. And during Fashion Week. Do you believe his murder relates to Fashion Week? I have no idea. I just started working here and I'm just an intern. I didn't know Sebastien well enough to guess why he was killed. He was nice to me. Well, if in the office gossip you hear anything that might help us, please let us know. And we'll let these two run their courses. I'll have all stars collected by then. And for now, this is Matthew. I'll catch you later. Alright, we returned. Let's get the results of the glove first. Matthew, it is good to see you. And Mademoiselle Carey, you are smoldering today. Have you done something different with your hair? No, it's the same as always. But you're sweet to say that. What can you tell us about the glove Matthew found on the service tray at the crime scene? Well, I can tell you that it's your killer's glove. Your victim was shot, Non. Your victim was shot, Non. Well, I found gun grease on the glove, and not only that, but it's the left-hand glove, and the grease pattern shows the killer used our left hand to shoot the victim. We kind of figured that. That means your killer is left-handed. Well, Matthew, soon we'll show this killer the left hand of justice. Madam, sorry, Nadia. That will take some time getting used. That will take some getting used to. Old habits. You better kill that habit as soon as you can, or I'll give you a spank when you slip up. Nadia, I meant to say, what can you tell us about Sebastien Lefebvre's murder? First, that is a real shame that mankind lost such a nice specimen. I would have definitely preferred him lying in my bed rather than on my autopsy table. Anyway, he was shot, simply put. And the striations on the bullet I dug out of his chest indicate the killer probably used a silencer. Ah, a silencer would definitely explain how the shot went unnoticed on that street corner. Yes, whoever did this had an axe to grind with Lefebvre, and wanted to avoid making a scene. However, they did take a moment to drop ash from their cigarette onto his clothes. And Lefebvre didn't smoke cigarettes. I found a vape pen in his pocket. But I can tell you that your killer smokes Laval brand cigarettes. Back home, people say cigarettes are like nails in your coffin. But for our killer, they're more like bars in their jail cell. Well, Matthew, we've got our second murder during Paris Fashion Week. I knew the industry was cutthroat, but this takes it too far. Fashion journalist Sebastien Lefebvre was shot while sitting on a bistro terrace. We learned from his editor that his strong opinion sometimes rubs people the wrong way, but inciting murder? The CEO of Stacy's department store approached him, hoping Lefebvre would support the opening of a Stacy's here in Paris, and it didn't go well. I wonder if the intern at the Victims magazine will hear anything helpful in all the office chatter about the murder. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm glad I caught you. You've got to get to the Flamme magazine lobby quick. I'll see you guys for Chapter 2. Do not go anywhere. We are back. Let's start Chapter 2 of Murder a la Mode. This is where we last left off on. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm glad I caught you. What's going on, Leah? You'll want to head to the Flamme magazine lobby. The receptionist just called and said he found your victim's bag there. Was it left there by the killer? Does he think there's a bomb in it? No. Well, I hope not, but I know it's probably helpful to your case. I'm sorry, Matthew, I'm just excited to help, and I might have had too much coffee today. No need to apologize, Leah. That is helpful. The receptionist had to leave for the night, but he said he left the bag in the lobby for you to check out. Perfect. Matthew, let's head to the Flamme magazine lobby. do that. Outrageous hat. Matthew, the receptionist must have gone for the night, but you found the victim's satchel. Looks like we'll have to crack the code on that lock to see what's in it. And you found this crazy hat. Closer examination of it could help us ID another person who knew the victim. Oh, and what's this torn paper you found? Looks like a drawing. Let's put it back together. Moment, folks. Okay. I got 3 of the stars. I'm going to get the remaining ones a little later. Five, 4, 5, 4, 5. 9. 5, 4, 5. Okay. And let's see. 4, 3, 5, 9, 5. Excellent, you got the victim's satchel open. Wait, is that a photo of the victim inside? Creepy, Matthew. Someone burned holes through the photo's eyes. I think it's safe to say the victim wouldn't do this to his own photo. Good call. The burns are clearly made with a cigarette, and we know our killer smoked cigarettes. The killer must have done this. Let's send the photo to Enzo for examination. 12 hours. Now let's examine the outrageous hat. Okay, see. Here we go. Gianni Domani's hat. Well, Matthew, this was one crazy looking hat. Apparently it was designed by the famous eccentric designer Gianni Domani. I wonder if Mr. Domani knew our victim. Let's talk to him. Mr. Domani, this hat you made was at the Flamme magazine office. Yes, the hat was there for Sebastien Lefebvre to do a write-up on my new line for Fashion Week. So why do you have it? Are you the fashion police? Mr. Lefebvre was shot dead earlier tonight. Do you know anything that might help us find his killer? All I know about Lefebvre is that he was a hipster journalist, and my guess is someone shot him for being too basic. That's a snide remark for someone being questioned about a murder. Honey, I'm far too busy reinventing clothing to plan anyone's murder. And speaking of busy, GTG, ciao. Got to go. Speaking of which, I need to pause right here because I need to take a bathroom break, so sit tight, everybody. Phew. Now I feel a lot better. Got it. Ooh, this is a sketch for a jacket. It's super snazzy. I'd wear that in a heartbeat. The signature on the sketch says Juliet. That must be the intern we met, Juliet Siegel. Hey, there's something written on the back. It's the victim's name surrounded by hearts. Looks like the victim meant a little more to Juliet than she first told us. Let's go talk to her. Juliet, we found the sketch you did. And we also saw Lefebvre's name and the hearts you drew on the back. And you said you barely knew him. Okay, I admit it. I had a beguine for him. But who wouldn't? And it was just a crush. Did you ever ask him out? No, I never would have acted on it. I could lose my internship at Phlegm if I did that. But I couldn't help getting nervous whenever he was around. I started smoking a pack of Lavals a day just to relax. And I did that drawing because I thought it might be something nice to give to him, but I smudged it a little, like always. I hate being left-handed. I'm left-handed, I don't hate it one bit. Seb would have thought I was ridiculous anyway. Maybe it's a good thing I never told him how I felt. And I'll see you guys when the photo of the victim has run its course. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the photo of the victim. Enzo, were you able to confirm it was the killer who burned the eyes out of the victim's photo? Yes, it was absolutely your killer's doing. The ash residue they got on the photo was a match for Laval cigarettes. So the killer burned the eyes out of the photo and gave it to the victim as a threat. But that doesn't tell us any more about the killer's motive or identity. Actually, the photo also has some liquid residue soaked into it. I identified bourbon, maple syrup, orange juice, all of which come together to make the delicious Libertine cocktail. So I can tell you that your killer drinks Libertines, and if you've never tasted Libertines, we should go out for some soon, Carrie. I'd like that, Enzo. Well, Matthew, our killer will have to give up all of their indulgences when we throw them behind bars. Now, I think it's time we do another sweep of the victim's office. Let's go. Folks. Purse. Okay. Matthew, the label on that DVD says Lefebvre Fashion Advice Pilot. Looks like the victim was going to get a TV show. But what is this pink powder on the DVD? Let's collect a sample. And you think digging through this box of scarves might lead us to something helpful? It's worth a shot. Got it. Great, Matthew. Now let's check out that powder you collected from the DVD under the microscope. Okay. Embalming powder. Matthew, the powder you found on the DVD is embalming powder. What is embalming powder doing in a fashion magazine office? Oh, you're right. We've learned that the editor, Martine Meunier, used to be a coroner. She probably used this stuff all the time. But what is she doing with it now? Let's go ask Miss Meunier what's up with this. I can't believe Martine didn't even recognize us. Miss Meunier, would you care to explain the embalming powder Senior Trooper Matthew found? Yes, I had to use the embalming powder on an antique fur coat that I wore out recently. Juliet and I drank too many Libertines, and I spilled some on the fur. What a sticky mess that was. A bit of scrubbing with the embalming powder got the stain right out, along with the smell of my Laval cigarettes. Works like a charm. Must be an old coroner trick of yours. Who would have guessed that knowledge would come in handy in the fashion industry? I wouldn't have. And speaking of knowledge, we saw that Sebastien Lefebvre was going to have his own TV show. How did you feel about that? I was against it. We needed him here at Flamme. He's one of our star writers. Things got tense when he refused to listen to reason. I almost had to give him my left hook. Good thing he backed down before it came to blows. I hope that's the truth, and you didn't resort to shooting him to keep him from moving on to bigger and better things. My money's on Juliet.
Smartphone.
Hey, you found a phone among all those scarves. Looks like the battery's drained, but since this is the victim's office, do you think it's his phone? Emily will be able to charge it and see if it's the victim's. $12. I'll see you guys when this is done. So for now, this is Matthew. I'll catch you later. Okay, we are back now. Let's get the results of the smartphone from Emil. Matthew, I can confirm that this is indeed your victim's cell phone. And he has some messages from Simon Lemaitre, the high-profile CEO of Chior Fashion House. Messages from Chior? They're a huge brand. Were they suspicious or threatening messages? Not exactly. Lemaitre wanted Lefebvre to promise to write a glowing article about Chior's new line, in exchange for a front row seat at the fashion show coming up. Let me guess. He refused. He did refuse, and Lemaitre's response was surprisingly congenial. She is known in the fashion world as being a bit of a demon, you could say. A demon? Sounds dangerous to me, Sounds dangerous to me. Matthew, we should talk to Lemaitre about her communication with the victim. Oh, hello. I must say, officers, your uniforms are cute, but they leave something to be desired. Miss Lemaitre, we haven't brought you in for fashion tips. We wanted to talk about your connection to the journalist, Sebastien Lefebvre. I am aware of him. He'll be attending the Chior show later this week. Actually, he won't. He was shot earlier tonight, and we're investigating his murder. You believe I have something to do with it? I may be a powerful presence in the fashion world. Some might say I am driving it. But one less journalist, whatever their opinion of my work, means a little less coverage on Chior, and that is disappointing to me. Well, Matthew, we're on the hunt for the person who shot Sebastien Lefebvre dead earlier tonight. Designer Gianni Domani made some snide remarks about him being a hipster and basic. For some in the fashion world, that could be grounds for murder. On the other hand, high-powered Chior CEO Simone Lemaitre, she seems to feel that any press is good press, no matter the opinions expressed. That's a strangely egalitarian sentiment for someone people call a demon. She could be hiding something. And it almost came to blows between Miss Munier and the victim over his desire to leave Flamme to host a TV show. For now, the least suspicious of the bunch is Juliet. I mean, who kills someone they have a crush on? Senior Trooper Matthew, here you are. It's Emil. He won't listen to reason. Oh boy. We'll find out why in Chapter 3. Stay tuned. And we return to start Chapter 3 of Murder a la Mode. We last left off with Senior Trooper Matthew, here you are. I need your help. Follow me to Emil's office. Et plus vite que ça. Please, Enzo, leave me alone. I already told you I'm not ready to join a dating app just yet. Come on, the pictures Lola took of you the other day look awesome. You could even add a shirtless one to the mix. But keep the bow tie on. Classy. The cutest girls in Paris will be fighting over you. No! There's no way I'm showing myself half naked on the internet. I'll look ridiculous. I'm half as big as you, Enzo. Emil, don't compare yourself with other men. Beauty lies in our differences. I think you're really cute, and Enzo is right. Lots of women will be interested in you. Thank you, Carrie. I'll consider making a profile, but I make no promises. Well, Matthew, thanks for helping straighten this nerd's head out. Hey, I represent that remark. Matthew, now that that's settled, let's head to the Flam lobby and do another sweep for clues. Moment, folks. Got it. Matthew, this is the victim's press pass, but it looks like someone wrote on the back. I'll grab the dusting kit. And this suit bag has Lefebvre's name on it, plus it's locked. So there's definitely something important inside. Let's crack the code on that lock. What's this broken ceramic thing you found? You're right, we should reassemble it. It could be a clue. Ah, missed the 9. Great, Matthew. You got the suit bag open. Whoa, and look at the jacket inside. Polka dots and plaid is a bold choice. But hey, the victim was a fashion journalist. He knew more about this stuff than we do. But one thing we are experts in is homicide investigation. I think the High Commissioner can help us examine this jacket. Looks like a piggy bank. Yep. Matthew, this is a piggy bank, and it's got the victim's name on it. Why would Lefebvre write his name on it all sloppy like this? You're right, the piggy bank is from Stacy's. I'll bet Howard Stacy has something to do with this. It looks like it could be a threat. Let's get Mr. Stacy to explain. Mr. Stacy, we know you're in the habit of giving gifts to win people's support, but I think this piggy bank sends a mixed message. Oh, I think the message was received loud and clear. Lefebvre almost single-handedly ran the Stacy's brand into the ground. He was so against our stores opening in France that he took to social media to drum up resistance against us. But why do you care? You're a huge established company. With one post, he made Stacy's stock drop in value by 51%. He had completely tarnished the reputation of our brand, the brand my great-great-grandfather built from nothing. This wasn't something we could chat about over a couple of libertine cocktails, this was personal. So I sent Lefebvre a message calling him a morally bankrupt swine. Well, if you killed Lefebvre, your stock will dive all the way to zero. Gianni's note. You forgot this when you were snooping. Matthew, the writing on the victim's press pass says, you forgot this when you were snooping. And it's signed by Mr. Domani. Why would Lefebvre be snooping around Domani? Let's ask Mr. Domani about this accusation. Why, hello again, Senior Trooper Matthew. Still on the case of that reporter who flammed out? Mr. Domani, murder is no laughing matter, and from what you wrote on Lefebvre's press pass, it seems you took him as a serious threat to your work. Of course he was a threat. My assistants caught him snooping around my studio, twice. I know he was gathering information about my new line to sell to the other fashion hacks. How do you know that's what he was doing? Because he didn't make an appointment to interview me. He wasn't here to write an article. Why else would he come? Lefebvre was a sleazy snoop. I may have dulled my nose with packs of Laval cigarettes, but I can still smell a rat. Well, I hope you aren't Lefebvre's killer, because snoops don't get punished nearly as bad as murderers. As pissy as he is, don't think he's the one. I'll let the crazy suit jacket run its course, and I'll see you when that's done. Okay, we have returned. Let's get the results of the crazy suit jacket. Hi, Commissioner. Did you discover anything looking at the victim's suit jacket? I discovered that this suit jacket was meant as a threat to Lefebvre. But how in the world is a suit jacket a threat to anyone? I saw a clip from an interview with Simone Lemaitre in which she says polka dots and plaid are murder, but this jacket matches that fashion faux pas exactly. I also saw some advanced pics of Lemaitre's new line for the Chior fashion show, and some of the clothes match the patterns used in this jacket. So you're saying that Lemaitre pieced scraps together for a tailor-made threat to the victim? Matthew, we've got to talk to Simone Lemaitre about this. Lemaitre. Not quite sure. I'm going to say Lemaitre from now on. Let's grill Simone Lemaitre. Matrix. I don't know. This jacket you made is a pretty creative use of scraps, Miss Lemaitre. How dare you imply that I would make something so hideous? I made my stance on mixed patterns very clear. Yes, which explains why you sent this to threaten Sebastian Lefebvre with murder. Very clever deduction, Senior Trooper Matthew. You're more fashion conscious than your outfit suggests. Okay, I admit, I made the jacket. Lefebvre had written an article about me in which he described me as a woman of a certain age, implying that I am beyond my prime as a designer. Lefebvre's thinking is antiquated as my mother's, who tried to discourage me from using my left hand to sew, but my designs are timeless. So I spent a night drinking libertines and smoking Lavals, and spat that abomination from my sewing machine in response to his horrendous misrepresentation of me. If we find out your response went beyond making an ugly sport coat, you'll be wearing orange in no time. Wow, Matthew, lots of intrigue around Sebastian Lefebvre. It seems the whole fashion world felt threatened by him. Simone Lemaitre said he labeled her as being too old to be in fashion. Gianni Domani was afraid he was spying and selling information to rival designers. And Howard Stacey said a simple post Lefebvre put on social media led to a drop in his company's stock value. I said at the beginning of this case that the fashion world is cutthroat, and any of these people could have taken drastic measures against Lefebvre to stay on top. We've still got a bit more digging to thread this investigation together. Let's head back to the scene of the crime. Deceiving that it's not. So, Matthew, what have we got here to help us catch the person who shot Lefebvre? You're right, this is a copy of Flamme, the magazine the victim wrote for. We're at the crime scene, so this could be the killer's copy. Let's collect a sample from that stain on the cover for examination. And as my instructor at the academy told me, you can't work in homicide if you're afraid of getting your hands dirty, so let's dig through that trash can for clues. They say the pen is mightier than the sword, Matthew, but our victim's pen was no match for his killer's gun. you've got a sample from the stain on that copy of Flam magazine. Let's get the sample to the lab and see if it points to our killer. Got it. A silenced pistol. Matthew, you found a gun in the trash, and this gun has a silencer on it. Nadia told us the killer had used a silencer when they shot the victim. There's no way this isn't the killer's gun. We'll get this to Nadia for examination. I'll see you guys when both of these are finished. So for now, this is Matthew. I'll catch you again soon. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the greasy substance. I'm going to try this here. Walk a little bit away from the sun. There we are. Enzo, what did you find from analyzing the sample Matthew collected from the magazine at the crime scene? People in the fashion world say you are what you wear, and in forensics, I say you are what you smear. I know that magazine you picked up was your killer's, because the substance you lifted from its cover had Laval cigarette ash in it. Excellent. What about the other stuff in the sample? Well, that's the part that tells me your killer isn't just fashionable with their clothing, but also their skin. The rest of the substance was cream for preserving tattoos, so we know your killer's got some ink. So our victim wasn't the only thing that got under our killer's skin. Come on, Matthew, we've almost closed this case. We'll go ahead and speed up the silenced pistol. Matthew, this gun may have a silencer on it, but it screams murder weapon loud and clear. The striations on the bullet I dug out of your victim's chest are a perfect match for the barrel and silencer on this gun. That's great news, Nadia. What else can you tell us about the murder weapon? Well, we know your killer thought they'd cover their tracks by wearing a glove. In my experience, gloves only make things more dangerous. But in the end, your killer got paranoid and wiped the gun away. That was their big mistake, because caught on the gun's sharp parts were microfibers soaked with lens craft cleaner. So while the gun doesn't give us fingerprints, it does tell us that your killer wears glasses. Matthew, the evidence against our killer is coming into focus. Matthew, we've got enough evidence to catch Sebastian Lefebvre's killer. Let's go add handcuffs to their ensemble. It is certainly not Martine Munier, thank goodness. I was right, it was Juliet Siegel. Yep. Juliette Siegel, you're under arrest for the murder of Sebastien Lefebvre. Me murder him, but I had a crush on him. Well, maybe you confessed your love and his rejection was too much to take. We've seen it happen. So you opted for a swift strike, shooting him with a silencer on your pistol. We found the left glove you used to make sure you didn't get prints on the gun. But you still left enough of your lens cleaner and cigarette ash at the crime scene for us to find you out. It's not like that. I only added the hearts to get you off my trail. What I really wanted was to work for Seb. You what? But you already work in the same office. Did you want to be his assistant or something? Look, I knew he made a deal to do a fashion advice show on TV, and more than anything I wanted to work on that show. So I played my cards right and got an internship at Flame. I was in the perfect position to show him what an asset I would be on his team. I did a whole bunch of sketches, like the one you found, but he said my drawings were horrible. So you didn't have the same fashion sense, and you decided that was the reason to murder him. He hated my drawings so much that he started telling Martine she should fire me. He said the magazine would suffer from my presence. So not only did he crush your dreams of working on his TV show, but he threatened to push you out of the fashion industry completely. Exactly. I tried to scare him with anonymous threats, but nothing worked. I had to fight harder than anyone to get this internship. Growing up in the suburbs of Paris didn't help me get this job, but it did help me get the gun I used to keep this job. But you know there are always other magazines, other TV shows, and now you're leaving the fashion industry for prison. Miss Siegel, you're under arrest. Juliette Siegel, you're charged with the murder of Sebastien Lefebvre. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor, but he was trying to get me fired. I only did it to protect my position in the industry. Do you really believe murder is the best way to advance your career? The fashion world is cutthroat. Everyone knows that. Miss Siegel, if everyone who said that took it literally, we'd all be wearing potato sacks. I sentenced you to 35 years in prison. 35 years? By the time I get out, my sense of style will be obsolete. Wow, Matthew, I can't believe Juliette thought she had to kill someone in order to continue working in fashion. The fashion world is like a small village. Everyone knows everything about everybody else. But isn't that all the more reason not to do something crazy like murder someone? I agree with you, but that is why we investigate murders and don't commit them ourselves. Touché, Hugo. I'll see you guys for an American Cop in Paris 2-5. And we're back. Let's start an American Cop in Paris 2-5. Matthew, Paris Fashion Week has just barely started, and already we've had 2 industry-related murders. This latest murder was committed because the killer feared being kicked out of the fashion world. No surprises there, Matthew. What is the expression in English? The cats will eat cats? Haha, that's close, but we say it's a dog-eat-dog world. Yes, that's it. In French, we say, "Il homme est un loup pour l'homme." Pour l'homme, which means man is a wolf to man. L'homme est un loup pour l'homme. Man is a wolf to man, okay? Ooh, I like that. I'll have to remember it. Matthew, Miss Munier is here to speak with you, and she says it's very important. But I must confess, I also urgently need your help. No worries, Hugo. We'll see what Miss Munier needs, and then we'll come find you. Matthew, first of all, thank you for solving Lefebvre's murder. As you know, I spent a long time working for the police, so I understand it's a difficult and dangerous job. Well, we wouldn't have guessed it, but after this murder, we could say the same about your job. Speaking of my job, the Chior fashion show is coming up, and Juliet was gathering very important information for Flame's coverage of the show. But now that she's in prison, I have no way of accessing the files on her tablet. Could you unlock the tablet for me? The last time I saw it was during a meeting with Juliet in our office. We'll be happy to help, of course. Oh, thank you. In exchange for your help, Matthew, I can give you this jacket that was sent as a review sample. As fashion journalists, we get more free clothes than we can wear. This is a friend of mine. Matthew, you found Juliet Siegel's tablet. Let's get her unlocked so Miss Munier can access the files she needs. Got it. Perfect. You got Juliet Siegel's tablet unlocked. Ah, you're right. Before we give the tablet back to Miss Munier, there might be information on it relating to Miss Siegel's illegal purchase of a firearm. It's worth tracing any criminal activity she's connected with. Let's have Emil look through the tablet. Matthew, remember how I told you I was getting a divorce? What I didn't tell you is that I'm married to Judge Lebrun. That must be difficult for you, given that you essentially work together. Yes, and the divorce is a difficult thing for me to accept, but this is what is happening. So how can we help? You know we're here if you need someone to talk to. That is kind of you, but I've lost the divorce papers I was supposed to fill out and deliver to Clementine today. Things are already tense between us, and if I don't give her my papers, mine might be the next murder you solve. We can totally help with that. Where did you last have them? I was looking over the papers at the bistro by the Arc de Triomphe you investigated earlier. Well, speaking of our investigation, I got some paperwork of my own to wrap up. But Matthew is an eagle eye. I'm sure you don't need my help. Okay, Matthew, let's go to the bistro. Let's hop. Matthew, you found my divorce papers, but they've been torn to pieces. Ugh, it's like a beautiful metaphor for my broken marriage to Clementine. Sorry, Matthew, I'll stay focused. We've got to tape the papers back together before I can fill them out. Got it. Magnifique, Matthew. My divorce papers look almost as good as new, but I must confess, now I require some help knowing how to fill them out. I've never done this before, and with all of this official legal stuff, I'm scared to make a mistake. High Commissioner Jean-Philippe has experience with this from his own divorce. We can consult him about the papers. Personally, the thought of divorce would be enough to make me physically ill. But I'll see you guys when these are done. So for now, this is Matthew. Catch you. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the divorce papers first. Hugo, I've looked over your divorce papers and they appear straightforward to me. Yes, I know, Jean-Philippe. I'm sorry to bother you with this. It's just that I've never done this before, and divorce is such a big word. It feels so final. Divorce is a difficult process to go through, but remember that nobody's dying, and nobody's dying here. You're merely agreeing that you are not a good fit to be partners anymore. But what if I don't agree? Well, that's the hardest part of it. I didn't agree when Delphine wanted a divorce, but I had to admit that after we finalized it, and I had some time to think, I felt free. This city is full of beautiful women. I meet people, I go on dates. My relationship with Delphine is actually better because we're apart. You'll see, Hugo, if one of you isn't happy being together, then neither of you will be happy. You're right. As much as it hurts, it's the right thing to do for both of us. Matthew, I'll fill the papers out, and please come with me to deliver them to Clementine. I'll be stronger with you there, too. I've got to say, Hugo, I'm pleasantly surprised you got these papers together in time. I'll be honest, this decision isn't easy for me, so I got some help from Matthew. Oh, mon chat, this isn't easy for either of us. I guess this means you won't call me ton chat anymore? This divorce doesn't mean our relationship is over. Because of our jobs, we see each other all the time. Maybe there's space for us to be friends. You're right. In that case, I'll see you in court. Yes, you will. I'm sorry, Hugo. Oh, Matthew, I'm glad you came with me. If you weren't here, I'd just be a puddle on the floor. How about I go get a drink to dull the edge of the knife in my heart? I'll buy. Sounds so typical. Lose your woman, you go to the bar. Emil, did you find anything on Juliet Siegel's tablet about how she obtained the gun she used to murder Lefebvre? I didn't find anything in writing, but there were some voice chats logged with an Eleonora Macaron. What? Is this Eleonora related to the French mob boss Antoine Macaron? As a matter of fact, Eleonora is Macaron's daughter. Wow, I wonder if Juliet Siegel bought her gun and silencer through this mob connection. In any case, we've got to deliver Juliet's unlocked tablet. Let's go drop off the tablet with Miss Munier, and then we'll follow up on Macaron's daughter. Oh, thank you, Senior Trooper Matthew. If you hadn't unlocked Juliet's tablet for me, there was no way I could prepare to cover the Shior fashion show. And now that I don't have an intern to help me, I've got a lot of work to do. Well, before we let you get back to it, we've got one quick question. Do you know an Eleonora Macaron? Of course. She's Antoine Macaron's daughter and a prominent socialite. She knows anyone who's anyone. How do you know the Macarons? Antoine is a business partner of Flame magazine. I know he has some stains on his record, but all of his dealings with us have been 100% legal. His involvement with Flame doesn't concern us, but we would like to speak with Eleonora. Do you know where we might find her? She is often at the bistro where Lefebvre was killed. If you go now, you may find her there. Perfect. Senior Trooper Matthew, let's head to the bistro, and we can grab a bite to eat while we're there. Got it. I don't see any sign of Eleonora. Maybe she's not coming tonight. Oh, good idea, Matthew. Let's see if she's on the reservation list. Looks like the writing has faded from the list. We'll have to recover the text. Matthew, there's Eleonora's name on the reservation list. And what a coincidence. She'll be here very soon. We'll talk to her about her connection to Juliet Siegel when she arrives. Miss Macaron, do you know a Juliet Siegel? Yes, I met her at a Flame Issue launch party, and we've hung out often ever since. But I just heard she went to prison for murder. I'm totally shocked. Leading up to the murder, did you have any indication that she might be about to do something drastic like that? No, I wish she had told me about her problems, because I totally would have taken her out for drinks. There's nothing that can't be solved by some cocktails and dancing all night in a club. I know you wouldn't expect that answer from the daughter of Antoine Macaron, but let's just say my father and I have different views. I don't know how anybody could think that murder would solve any problems. Well, as they say, le loup est un loup pour l'homme. Wait, the wolf is a wolf for man? Or is it... Haha, close. Hey, I like your style, Senior Trooper Matthew. I have to go meet my friend for dinner now, but let's get drinks sometime. Matthew, I was just in the break room and saw Hugo on the couch. He's out cold. I at least removed his shoes so he'll be a little more comfortable. It's good of you to be there for him in this difficult time. I know you joined the team only recently, but you already feel like a member of the family. Speaking of family, Matthew and I spoke with Macaron's daughter, Eleonora, tonight. Did I hear you say you met with Macaron's daughter? Did you get a sense that she's wrapped up in her father's criminal activity? Not from what she's told us. She seems more concerned with drinking and dancing. But it's also got me thinking, if Eleonora is secretly connected to her father's dealings, and if my brother Cody is part of Macaron's Pigeons and Rats crew, then Eleonora might know Cody. We've got to tread lightly and keep in touch with her to find out more. In the meantime, Fashion Week isn't over yet, so let's hope it finishes out with no more bloodshed. Okay. So I'll get reports, I'll ask for reports from people. All right. That'll do. and I'll get started on case 3 as soon as possible. So for now, this is Matthew. I'll catch you later.